Hi, everyone. We're here again today. What do you know? Oh, I need to put a trigger warning on this one. I'm sorry. Hold on just a second. I forgot. It's definitely going to have a trigger warning. So, mods, you might want to put that in the comments too, just in case they don't see it going across the deal. I also put it on the um, part of my thumbnail, so I'm hoping that nobody gets very, very triggered. It's good to see you guys. Mischief Manage is here, taking care of me as always. DOA is a fraud. Good to see you. Yeah, you got to get some errands done. Catch me on the replay. It's good to see you, though. Susan P., good to see you. It's a beautiful day in Arkansas. It's a beautiful day in Oklahoma, too. It actually rained a little bit earlier. Joe McCoyne, howdy. We rode that wild horse called life to another Saturday. Yahoo. Yeah, here we go. Cinderella, good to see you. Guys, I'm just always glad to see you guys. I really am. So, Granny G, good to see you too. And Joel McCoyne and Cinderella are both members, and I really appreciate that. We have memberships if anybody's available. If anybody's interested in that. This might be interesting, guys. I am really tired and my words are not coming just right. So bear with me. Literally no one is here. Good to see you, George. Good Saturday. It says TKK. No, that's the other one. Sorry, that's Pippi Longstocking. It's a windy day in Quebec City. TKK says, good morning, Susie. It's 3:15 a.m. here. Can't sleep. Hope you're not too bad off today. I'm doing pretty good, guys. Queen, I can't see your name. My eyes aren't working good. Suki Meow. I think so. Yeah, that's good. Blake Reed's here. It's good to see you guys. It really is. Yes, please hit that like and subscribe. Chad be blessed in Aaron's name. That's right, you guys. That is right. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this today. I just want to say hello to everyone and welcome to this stream. Today's topic comes with a big trigger warning, y'all. Seriously does. And also, I know my lighting sucks. I've got another light ordered. So for some reason with this laptop, the lighting just absolutely sucks. Cinderella says she's always here. I'm glad to be here. Well, I'm glad you're here. I don't know why it's not. Oh, wow. Watching from Ireland. Good to see you. It's good to see you too. It's good to see all of you. Anyway, today comes with a big trigger warning because we're going to be talking about a brutal unaliving of a woman and then the self-unaliving of a man. So please, if this is too much for you, just take a break and watch another video with us. We'll have something that's not this triggering probably tomorrow. But I believe it's important to cover these stories to get an idea of just how dangerous the teaching of the Church of Scientology is. I also need to cover a little bit of housekeeping. Guys, if I appreciate it so much, but if you have Cash Apped me in the last month, there's something wrong with my Cash App. I don't know what it is. It's not letting me accept money. So they say they're canceling those and that you're not being charged. So I hope that's the case. And if that is the case and you still want to send me, whatever, I don't care. Please use my PayPal or Super Chats, I guess. Either one until further notice. I'm going to try to take my Cash App off of my page so there's no confusion, but I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get it to delete earlier. It was the craziest thing. It's just giving me all kinds of trouble. So if you want to send the money that you tried to send before, just do it through PayPal or a Super Chat, and then I'll get it fixed eventually, I promise. And if you don't want to send it, that's fine too. So no problems. Just saying, if you're wondering why did she deny that money? It wasn't me. It was Cash App, and I don't know why. I can't figure it out. It lets me pay stuff, but it's not letting me take money in. So anyway, there's that. I'm just so uncomfortable even talking about that. Any kind of payment, it creeps me out. But it had to be done so that you all would know what was going on. And I'll probably do it in a couple more videos just to get the word out, because not everybody's on every video. And there was quite a few of you. I mean, like 5. So anyway, let me get a sip of tea real quick. Okay. Here we go, y'all. On October 30th, 2011, actor and lifelong Scientologist Jonathan Kendrick Lewis, known as Johnny, crashed his motorcycle in a high-speed incident. Lewis was a long-time motocross participant and loved anything motocross and motorcycles in general. He was a big, big fan of anything with motorcycles and apparently speed, which who isn't, right? Motorcycles and speed. He did sustain head injuries in that collision or crash, but he refused not one but 2 MRIs that were scheduled, apparently by his Scientologist father, Michael Lewis. So we're going to backtrack a little bit. You know how I am. I like to say stuff and then I go back and kind of build up the story a little bit. So in 2009, Johnny was an up-and-coming actor who starred on Sons of Anarchy for 2 seasons. And he decided to leave after the 2 seasons because he thought the show was getting too violent. He wanted to work on a novel, and his girlfriend, Diana Marshall Green, was pregnant. So he wanted to kind of settle down a little bit. But the next few years just spiraled out of control and led to his death after a violent unaliving of his landlady. In the months leading up to the self-aliving of second-generation Scientologist on September 26th of 2012, he'd broken into a woman's apartment, punched a man outside a yogurt shop. I heard that it was like a sucker punch. It wasn't like a fight. He just walked up and punched somebody and attempted to unalive himself. On September 26, 2012, police responded to reports of a woman screaming in her Los Angeles neighborhood. What they found was horrific and would haunt them for years. They found Kathy Davis, 81, dead in her bedroom. She had been beaten to death and strangled, but mostly beaten to death. Davis had opened her home to up-and-coming writers and actors in the 80s and was Lewis's landlady. Police also found her cat in the bathroom, beaten, dismembered, and dead. And then they found Lewis laying dead in the driveway. And this was only 5 days after his release from a 303-day stint in jail. Lewis's friends would later say that Davis had reprimanded Lewis for trying to disable a fuse box, which appears to have led to this horrific crime. According to police, Lewis introduced himself to a neighbor, Dan Blackburn, which Blackburn thought it was odd the way that he did. It was confusing. He was like, okay, Then he confronted Davis in her bedroom, where he apparently unalived her and her cat. Following the attack, he returned to Blackburn's yard, again, weird, and pounced on a house painter that was working for Blackburn. It was just a man that was painting his house. Blackburn's wife saw the attack and screamed for Blackburn to help. But then Lewis attacked Blackburn as he tried to intervene. So it was just like crazy. Just, Finally, the painter, Blackburn, and his wife escaped by running into their house and locking the door. Blackburn later told police it was as if Lewis was unaffected by pain. It was like he was swatting him with a fly swatter. It had no more effect than that. When he would punch him and kick him and, fight him. Lewis then returned to the writer's villa, as it was called. It was to be Davis's house, and either jumped or fell to his demise 15 feet from the roof. Even though it was suspected that he had drugs in his system, especially because he almost seemed like he had superhuman strength and was immune to pain, there were no drugs found in his system, nothing at all. I have the autopsy report, and it lists several drugs they tested for, and nothing was in his system. The coroner noticed that Lewis had fractured Davis's entire skull and obliterated the left side of her face, left her brain exposed and partially on the floor around her. I just can't imagine. She was an 81-year-old woman. Sadly, several people close to Lewis claimed that they weren't surprised by the horrific turn of events. His lawyer, Jonathan Mandel, told CBS News that Johnny Lewis had a lot of problems, a lot of mental problems, and that he said, I recommended treatment for him, but he declined. He also said that Lewis suffered from psychosis and clearly it did not impede his judgment. Sorry. Forgot to turn off my ringer. Many pointed at his parents, both longtime high-ranking Scientologists, which he was a Scientologist too in recent months. Of course, he'd been in jail. He had not been active in the church, but it didn't say that he had actually left the church. He might have, but it didn't say that. But his parents were high-ranking, very devoted Scientologists, which we all know discourages any kind of psychiatric treatment. But his father, which I found this weird, claimed that he encouraged his son to seek help. I kind of wondered what kind of help that was. And Mandel, the lawyer, claimed that his parents really went to bat for him and that Johnny just didn't respond to any of their tries to help. I can't help but wonder if their form of help was to send him to some kind of Scientology thing. So, there's that. Anyway, it says in 2004, Lewis had promoted Narcocon, the anti-drug program created by the Church of Scientology. And his father had previously appeared and worked alongside L. Ron Hubbard, to create an instructional self-help video based on Dianetics. So they were very involved and in the artistic side of it too. His life spiraled out of control in 2012 when he was arrested for assault, breaking and entering, and burglary. He spent time in a court-ordered rehab and jail. That was 303 days. A report by his probation officer, however, gave a troubling warning of Lewis's state of mind. I think we really need to pay attention to these, people that, are trained to deal with them. We need to, really pay attention to them. It read, "This officer is very concerned for the well-being of not only the community, but that of the defendant. It appears apparent to this officer that the defendant suffers from some form of chemical dependency, mental health issues, and a lack of permanent housing." Michael Lewis, which would be the father, told an LA magazine that Scientology's famous hatred of psychology had not been at fault in his son's death. Well, of course not. He claims that he pursued and encouraged psychiatric treatment, but his son declined and refused to comply. I find that really hard. To believe because he was way up the bridge. Lewis's mother, Devonna, who was 72, a devout Scientologist and an OT8, succumbed to cancer just days after Kelly Preston, according to her husband, Michael. He didn't even tell the date. He just said it was several days after Kelly Preston died. She died in Clearwater, Florida, after a lengthy battle with melanoma. Michael Lewis has since told reporters that he's living his best life after the deaths of his wife and son. He threw himself into expensive Church of Scientology auditing. He obtained OT8 and reached the top of the bridge to total freedom. So he turned to bridge adjacent experiences, y'all. So this is how high up this guy was, okay? He was real high up. So I don't know. I just have a hard time believing that he was trying to get his son psychiatric help. It just doesn't, the math ain't mathin' kind of deal, you know? These experiences, y'all, include Scientology's superpower packages costing approximately $30,000, and the L's, which are about $50,000 to $70,000 each, and the Cause Resurgent Rundown, which at approximately $2,500 seems cheap in comparison, but it's literally just running around for hours around a lighted pole that has a large dome over it for days until you have some sort of an epiphany. I think I'd have an epiphany in about the first 2 minutes, and I'd be like, this is BS, and I'm done. Michael Lewis continued to say, I routed into Flag early this year, having just lost my wife, and had been scraped off the floor by the free winds. Shortly before my wife passed away, she said, it's your turn now. You've been taking care of me. Now you need to take care of you. I routed in and did the superpowers, then L11 and L12, and the course Resurgence, all while feeling myself come back and then some. Isn't that nice? I thought I'd never be happy, really happy again. Now it's difficult to imagine being happier than I am right now. Thanks to FSO, I'm living a new life, a rewarding one that helps both myself and many others. I feel younger and more hopeful, and looking over my days and my activities, there's absolutely nothing I don't love. I appreciate the FSO staff. They have helped me through the worst time in my life and helped me make it the best time of my life. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Sounds like a lot of Church of Scientology propaganda crap to me, and it kind of just creeps me out. It really does. It just like, I don't know if it creeps me out when I hear people who have just lost a spouse or a child or something, you know, being like, I'm living the best life. I'm living my best life. I've never been this happy. Well, good for you, I guess. But I think that whole little statement he made sounds like nothing but cult propaganda. What I'm wondering, y'all, is if his motorcycle crash had something to do with his later actions, because head injuries can cause huge changes in personality and even violent tendencies. And since he wouldn't have an MRI, we don't know if he had, I mean, they knew his head was, you know, he had head injuries, but they don't know the extent because he didn't have an MRI. And then whenever he died, there was so much injury because he went head first, 15 foot down onto concrete, that they couldn't tell what was what. They couldn't tell what was new and what was old. Also, was his devout cult of Scientology father really trying to get him help? And from where? And at some point, why wasn't he just committed? If he was like this bad, y'all, they can commit you against your will. I mean, if you don't believe it, look at Britney Spears. She got committed, and ended up in a conservatorship. And anyway, it just sounds like the dad and even the lawyer kind of covering their asses to me. Covering Scientology's ass and covering the lawyer's ass. I could not find any information or evidence that the attorney was a Scientologist or that he represents the cult in any way. He does seem to be a big deal with former clients like Cary Grant, Tom Selleck, Richard Pryor, and Michael Jackson. He also works with a lot of mental health facilities and organizations and represents a lot of people who are charged with things that their mental health is in question. So he does that. And he also works with a lot of gang-related defendants against SA and unaliving charges, which that one kind of bothered me, which I kind of have a distrust of lawyers in general, but especially ones that, defense attorneys. I just couldn't do it if I, knew the person was guilty. But his bio doesn't mention Scientology anywhere, and it doesn't even mention Johnny Lewis as a client. And I'm not trying to badmouth the attorney. I was just curious about him, and I thought you might be too, because it seems like that, if you go down a rabbit hole, it feels like that they just find more and more connections, but I really didn't. But y'all, Kathy Lewis, who also apparently was not a Scientologist, I did not find that anywhere. She fought for her life, y'all. Her autopsy report shows the cause of death as head injuries and strangulation. I wrote that wrong. And I'm sorry, Lewis's autopsy report, I wrote that right, shows evidence the cause of death is landing on his head, face first, or head first on the concrete. Okay. But his body showed nail marks on his neck with signs of partial strangulation and multiple other marks on his body not related to the 15-foot fall. His death is noted as accidental due to no proof of jumping or being pushed. And contrary to TMZ's report, the autopsy report shows he did not show signs of drugs in his system. But she fought because she tried to strangle him, and she had left marks all over his body. She fought. She bit. She fought, y'all. Davis was called a Hollywood legend and near saint by many actors and writers, including Taylor Negron, Val Kilmer, Parker Posey, Thomas Jane, Paula Poundstone, Chris Parnell, and even George Clooney. They were friends and they socialized a lot together. I found no evidence of a murder weapon, but it was reported that her cat, Jess, was beaten and dismembered in the attack, which is heartbreaking and just disgusting. Davis's autopsy report says she died of massive head injuries and suffocation, or strangulation. Lewis, because of his death, was not convicted, so he remains a suspect in the unaliving of Davis and her cat, though no other suspects were ever sought or charged or anything. They pretty much knew it was him. So, y'all, I brought this to you because even if the dad tried to get him psychiatric care, Why did he keep turning it down? And I would bet money, a lot of money, that it had to do with his Scientology indoctrination. Because a lot of people, when they're sick, they want to get help. They don't want to be sick. We see that all the time with other ex-Scientologists that are in therapy. They want to get well. And doesn't it seem like there's a lot with varying degrees of mental health issues? To me, that's just like another red flag as to how terrible this cult is. That so many people, and the higher they go in the organization, the more likely they are to have severe mental health issues. I mean, getting to OT3 alone and finding out about, the volcanoes and the ice cubes and the hydrogen bombs and all that, that would probably be enough to mess you up. But then they've got 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. And then they get to 8, and guess what? There's nowhere else to go, and it's nothing but questions left. You're supposed to be able to then find out who you really are, because you found out who you aren't, who the body thetans were really causing you to have memories that you had of past lives and all this stuff. And that was their memories, not yours. And so now that you know who you aren't, you're supposed to learn who you are. But there's nothing to tell them how to do that. After being told how to do everything for years and years. Can you just imagine? It's horrible. I'm going to go to my chat and see what you all think about this story. Try to go back up here and figure out where I was at. Yeah, higher than that. Here we go. Yeah. Susan P says, welcome to everyone. Mischief Managed, thank you for putting that trigger warning. Literally no one is a member. Blake Reed's, good to see you. Why is my computer's acting weird, y'all? Joe McCoy, good to see you. I think I said that earlier, but it is good to see you. You loved that show? I never watched it. And I can't remember the name of the guy he played. It was a weird name. But yeah. I know a lot of people that did. One of my best friends, he's passed away now, but he watched it like crazy. Yeah. Anna from Canada. Hi, Susie in chat. Recently found your channel, Susie, and have been enjoying your content. Well, thank you. And welcome. Glad to see you. Yeah, Joe McCoy, I remember that story, but the snooze media left out the Church and Scientology connection. Yeah, they do. The media just washes over it. Corcolopotus. Hello to Susie and Mods in the chat, too, from Central Kentucky. I've got family in Kentucky, from Hodgenville and Louisville. Cricket Cinema says, good day, all. Question, Cinderelli. Question, does the coroner's report say anything about his brain? No, it didn't. It just talked about massive head injuries and all the injuries to his body. He had neck injuries, spine injuries, because, he just like power drived into the cement on his head. But they didn't mention his brain. I mean, they mentioned like how much it weighed and that kind of stuff, but there was no mention of, it was just the normal stuff. I'm a little early on my tea, but I'd need it today. Cricket Cinema's here. George Massey's here. Had to leave for a second to remove the mask. Yeah, I haven't got George his wrench yet. I just haven't went on there and done it. I was trying yesterday, but I just, ugh. I was having so much. I'm so tired, y'all. It's like nothing works right for me. Cinderella says, gag me. Yeah, all of it. It's just terrible. Yep, George's family and not a guest. Gina Marie Torino, dang, joining late, but happy to say hi, y'all. Good to see you, and thanks for being a member, Cinderella. Yeah, it sounds like an Aaron Hernandez situation. There's a lot. Joe McCoy says there's been a lot of deaths connected to the Church of Scientology. Most of them are filled with shady stuff. That's the one true tragedy of the cult. Death will come to all, but this way is sick and sad. Absolutely. I've got, y'all, I've got a stack of papers probably this thick that I keep having my husband print for me. And it's all about deaths and mostly self-unaliving, but it's so sad. It is so sad. Gina Marie says Blake Rooney. Blakeish, wow. What a story. Heartbreaks for all of them, but there are lots of help for CPTSD. Grateful for that. I am too. Girl, I am too. Absolutely. Whoops. Susan P says more deaths that could have been prevented. Scientology is responsible. I think so too. And they can say they're not, but I don't believe them. Yeah, I had no idea that Lewis had a Church of Scientology connection. Granny Jesus, very sad. It is very sad, isn't it? Yeah, it said he was a second gen. So he was born into it. Or pretty much. They had been in it for 20 something years, and he was 28 when he died. So Mischief Managed says, if you enjoy Susie's content and hanging out with our friendly chatters, please give a big hey, y'all, to the likes and subscribe buttons. Yes, please do, y'all. I really do appreciate that. Dawn Gloves is here. Hey, Dawn. Good to see you. I appreciate whenever y'all come in. And I know a lot of people will come in on the replay. It gets a lot of people there. And I always go back and read y'all's comments. So go over there and make comments, and I will read them, and I answer as many of them as I can stay awake for. So, getting notifications. Ugh. That was from Mischief Managed. She's always timing me, y'all. At my urging, okay? She's not just doing it. I'm just reading here. Cinderella says, makes me wonder if he was mentally ill and he was so sad. Yeah. Mathurin Erica. Hi everyone. Question: is there a trial going on with this death case? No, because he died. So there's no defendant to try. I don't know that I don't think Scientology is involved. I think that they're responsible. I think that they're responsible for him not getting treatment, and his mental health is what caused him to act that way. They said that he had been a good person and everything before, that he was fun to be around. He dated Katy Perry, but apparently she said that she loved him and she worried about him, but that he was going down roads that she couldn't allow herself to be taken down, which was probably the drugs and everything. Don Gloves just got back from shopping with the kiddos. Mischief says, you're doing great on time today. I was talking fast, wasn't I? Gina Marie Torino, thank you so much. Cute glasses tax. Tough and sad. Hugs, Susie. They're actually just some $2 readers from Temu. But with my regular glasses, I can't see the chat good. So I put these readers on, and these are my favorites. I don't know why. I need to take them with me when I go get glasses next time and try to find some that look a lot like these because they're comfortable and I like them. So, but thank you very much for your super chat. That is very much appreciated. Joe McCoy says this should remind us that we need to always be kind to others. We never know what we may be going through. A smile and a kind word may just help them make it through another day. Absolutely. I think it's sad, y'all. I mean, obviously, he murdered somebody brutally. And I'm angry that this 81-year-old woman and her precious cat were unalived like that. It's horrible. But I'm also sad for him because I truly believe he was mentally ill. There were signs all along the way and nobody did anything. And I think that he could have been forced into some kind of treatment. And 5 days, y'all, after he got out of jail. This happened 5 days. And the probation officer was worried about him. And I mean, 5 days, and this was already happening. It's just crazy. It scares me. People just, we never know. And you're right, Joel, a kind word, just being kind. That's why I get so mad whenever people on YouTube or anywhere, when they bully people, because it's like, why? I mean, how would they feel bad if the person that they're bullying had some kind of breakdown or, worse? Because we don't know. We don't know what kind of mindset they're in. Cricket Cinema says, I love your glasses and hair and style. It looks like a spicy little pixie. This is just what's growing in from chemo. I haven't touched it. And it's dirty today. I didn't wash it, but it's so curly, and I've never had curly hair before. But thank you. I actually kind of like it, but I'm trying not to get attached because they warned me that the curls could just fall out tomorrow. And just at any time they could just fall out. But they don't seem to be doing it yet. Yeah, Mischief Manager. I'm very surprised they didn't catch it in the jail system too, which, I mean, like Tommy on the lifeboat says, they talk about all these programs that they have in jails, but they really don't have that many programs in jails. It's more of a talking point than an actual, system or whatever that they've gotten. Y'all are so sweet about my hair and glasses, guys. That's so sweet. Like I said, $2 Temu. Like maybe $2.16 or something. It might have been a little over $2, but like $2. Yeah, I understand, Erica, that you appreciate the answer, but you don't wonder why the church wasn't held responsible. I think it's because they didn't do it. It's like they don't get charged for anything. And I think they should. I absolutely agree with you. 100%. More than that, 1,000%. But I think that it's because they just, they didn't do it. They're not responsible for his actions. They weren't there. They weren't goading him into doing it. He hadn't even been at the church in months because he was in jail, y'all, for 303 days. But still, yeah, no programs, but they test the crap out of you. Mischief managed. Yeah, but some people are good at covering, and some people just miss things. It happens all the time. I don't know. Joe McCoy says, Susie, don't overdo rest. We need your voice and calm nature. Take it easy and we will be there when you come back next time. Your inspiration is more valuable than gold. That is so sweet. You're so kind. And thanks for being a member. Y'all, I feel better every time I come here. Takes Cricket says that anyone can buy the glasses, but it takes a Susie to rock them. Not really. Guys, you should see I'll have to show you I have like a little stand that I have that I'm putting all my reading glasses on. I just got it. I haven't got them on there yet. But I'll have to show you. And I have some of them that even though, and I'm honest to a fault, y'all. I mean, I love Temu for some things, but I have bought several pairs of glasses at the same strength, and some of them I can't see a thing out of. It's like I don't even have them on. And then others are great. I did buy a pair the other day that are like transitional. So like I can see out the top when I'm just looking at regular stuff, but then it gets more magnified as it goes down. And I really like those. And then I got a pair, well, Sister Bougie got a pair that you've just got to see. She's going to be on in a couple days. I'm just trying to get to where she feels like being bougie. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I like to try to keep it under an hour with being so tired. And anyway, I'm going to go rest and then have some dinner with Mark. We went out last night and I had prime rib and it was delicious. But it was like a 10 ounce or something. And I think I might have ate 2 ounces of it. So I got a whole lot of that left. So I'm probably going to do that and the mashed potatoes that came with it. So, or maybe a ham sandwich. I've been stuck on ham sandwiches lately. So I will see you guys soon. I plan to be back tomorrow, but if I'm not, it's just because I'm tired. And if anything goes wrong, if I ever get sick or something, I'll let you know or somebody will. So I keep it where we can get in pretty close and talk. My family can get in or Mischief Managed can get a hold of everybody. And so anyway, I'm going to go. I'm just jabbering. So I'll probably see you guys in the chat on other streams tonight because that's what I seem to do whenever I'm laying and resting is watch a lot of SPTV. So I'll see you guys later. I love you all. See you tomorrow or the next day at the latest. Thank you. Bye.